Welcome back. This video will be a short one this week. I'm just going through how to set up a timing wheel for a lathe. I've got to come up with a sort of contraption to hold the timing wheel, as you can see on the back of the lathe. It sort of goes straight into the barrel of where the chuck goes. So yeah, and I want it to be reusable. It's a simple split cylinder with a taper plug that tightens up and expands on the shaft. So I'm just cutting off some aluminium bar stock, just facing the end in the lathe. And then cleaning up the length of or machining it down to size to fit down the spindle bore of the lathe. Now we need to just open it up as much as we can because we want to flex the side of the tube we're going to make. Eventually we're going to slit that, so it's about a 25mm drill going in, and then at the other end just running a tap to cut a thread so we can use it as an adapter. Just checking, we want a really tight fit on the spindle bore. You can see the thread there. So I've got it as close as I can to a nice sliding fit. Now we're just going to cut a small plug at the other end, which is going to act as a taper plug, I suppose you call it. So I'm just putting a bit of a 1° angle on the compound slide. And you can see there's just a very fine taper on that. A quick hack to draw like some scribe lines on some tubular steel is I use this sort of method when I'm not really looking for super accuracy. I've already scribed it across when it was at 90 degrees. So I'm just lining up the two scratch marks. So they're sort of 90 degrees to the lathe now. Just go across the face. It's only aluminium. So just make a mark, go all the way across. That's the other mark. I'll just push it over a small way. And then you can just scribe a line down the side of the aluminium. And then get the 180 degrees, just line up with the other scratch mark. That will do. So I'll do for the cutting some slots just so it expands a bit. I won't go all the way, probably just halfway or 3/4 of the way, and then drill some holes just so it doesn't split too much. Then I've just put it in with a square collet chuck. And then again just line up the slit marks so it's at 90 degrees or 190 degrees to the table, I suppose you call it. That's just to help me with the bandsaw. Again, it's not super accurate. I really need to get a slitting saw for the mill. Well, that's what happens when you're in a rush. That one came out all right, just on the bandsaw. Just put it on, cut it freehand with just eyeballing it. That one was okay. That was drunk. That was slightly cockeyed. And that was, I don't know where I was going. So don't rush things is the key word. But I'm not going to make a new one out of that just because of that. Anyway, one was good. The rest were, yes, could do better. Take your time. I was in a rush. I was trying to do this in an hour. This is what happens. Anyway, you get the idea. Maybe I can just file that out a bit. Let's just see if it works. So I'm just tapping I'm just tapping an M3 down here to fix the degree wheel to the shaft. So this is more or less finished. What I ended up doing was pinning this taper on the end of the thread so it won't unwind, number one. And the other one is I just put a couple of flats on here and welded a bolt, or nut, sorry, on the end here. And because I want to reuse the timing disc or wheel, a couple of, on other things, I'll machine it so that it can slide on and off, so to speak, and then I can use it elsewhere if I need to. So that slides on there. There's a little hole that just lines up. And just drop the M3 Allen bolt in there. Just nip that up. And then that can slide in the end of slide into the lathe. And then just tighten it up. Doesn't have to be super tight, just so it doesn't slip on the shaft, because you want obviously to get the accuracy from the timing wheel. Yeah, so it'd be better to have ideally a really large timing wheel. Then you can have the degrees facing you down the lathe with a pointer on the top. So as you rotate, you can sort of look at lining it up. But saying that, you get parallax errors with it being a long way away, unless you could be off a little bit with your eyesight. So in some ways, having it this way, I can still sort of look. Once I get the pointer on there, I can look quite closely to see I'm like right on the degree sensitivity that way. So it swings and roundabouts, I suppose. It's not that hard to do that. So all I've got to do now is just make up a little magnetic stand with a pointer on it, which is not much, it's just a piece of steel cut. So I just cut up a little triangle that goes in the magnetic stand, and you can see you can just basically line up the wheel fairly accurately to work out how we're going to measure the phase of the two cranks. So that's it for this week. In the next video you'll see me put this into practice as I line up the two-stroke crank from my RZ250 Yamaha.